We have to talk about this man.
Barcelona have struck gold again.
The Barcelona teenager has been catching the attention of a lot of fans in La Liga this season for obvious reasons.
Over the course of the last 4 years or so, Barcelona have been winning in terms of the amount of seriously super talented young players they have been able to recruit into their first team.
Just 16 years of age.
They have found yet another one, and his name is Lamine Yamal.
Lamine Yamal, what a standout talent he is.
Where do I even begin with him? From this, or this? It's obvious. He is insanely talented, and by nature, the hype around him is massive. Many are calling him the next Messi, a future Ballon d'Or winner, and so on. The hype is insane, and to be fair, everything being said about him is true. I have never seen so much talent on display at such a young age.
Every time he touches the ball, something good happens, something productive happens, and when he has been on the field, he has been Barcelona's best player and most consistent player. Again, we're talking about a 16-year-old.
It's not often you see 16-year-olds who play as confidently as he does among much older players, most of whom have been professionals many years before he even burst onto the scenes. Barcelona's golden boy has been the talk of the entire football world for months now.
It's not just, Stevie, that it's 16, it's that he's doing it at such a big club like Barcelona.
Despite the star-studded squad that the club possessed, the player many people often cite as one of, if not the greatest threats, is a 16-year-old. That, no matter how you look at it, is impressive.
This guy just doesn't make bad decisions. It's 16. At the level that you're talking about, it's just incredible.
The fact that he's already been compared to Messi says a lot. Yamal is the future of not just Barcelona, but of football as a whole. And despite his age, he seems to be progressing at an astronomical rate. Now let's dive a little bit to know exactly who this boy is, and most important, is he worth the hype? Born in Esplugues de Llobregat, Spain, to a Moroccan father and Equatorian Guinean mother, Yamal joined Barcelona's Masia academy in 2014 at 7 years of age. Words of mouth would not be enough to describe how good he was during his time there. Considering the age at which he began playing with the first team, I think it's fair to say that he was way too good for the players in his age category. According to the club website, he raced through the age categories quicker than any other player of his generation. 2 years ago, he played with my son in the same team. You already could see that he's got real quality.
Sí, es un sueño para mí. Yo creo que para todos los niños que están en el fútbol base es su sueño llegar al primer equipo. Muchos entrenadores me han dado confianza, pero no es lo mismo darte confianza cuando tienes 12 años que cuando tienes 15 para ponerte a debutar en el Camp Nou delante de todo el mundo. Yo siempre se lo voy a agradecer porque no cualquiera me hubiera puesto con 15 años a debutar.
He was absolutely unplayable. The way he glides past his opponents, leaves defenders in the dust, and destroys the goalkeepers are sights to behold. The amazing part here is that nothing much has truly changed. The only difference is that he's not just doing it against his mates, but against professional players, many of whom are much older than him, and he always seems to get away with it every single time. He's ridiculously difficult to stop once he is in his element.
Every time he touches the ball, something good happens, something productive happens, and when he has been on the field, he has been Barcelona's best player and most consistent player.
For Barcelona fans, the last few years have been tough. No Champions League title for almost a decade. Real Madrid are the most dangerous and most recognizable club in Spain, if not the world, and they have been in a terrible place financially. One thing, however, has remained certain during this period: the club always finds a way to have insanely talented players. He made his first team debut in April 2023 in a 4-0 win against Real Betis, becoming the youngest player to ever represent Barcelona at 15 years, 9 months and 16 days. I went up to warm up, and when I entered the field, my ears popped. I couldn't hear anything. It was like a minute. In my legs, it seemed like an hour.
Yo me acuerdo que salí a calentar, de eso no me acuerdo, solo me acuerdo que salí y entré ya, y cuando entré al campo se me taponaron los oídos, no escuchaba nada, y fueron como un minuto, pero las piernas me lo pasaron como una hora. O sea, acabé muy cansado y fue como un minuto en mi mente, pero muy especial. Cuando salí al parking que había mi madre, todos muy contentos, muy felices, y ya al día siguiente ya era entrenar otra vez, así que no duró mucho, así que fue un día de mucha felicidad.
There was no doubt that the teenager's future was going to be bright. August 8th, 2023 was the next time Yamal made an appearance in a Barcelona shirt, coming off the bench after 75 minutes in the annual Joan Gamper pre-season trophy match against Tottenham. At a time when Tottenham was beginning to adjust to life without star striker Harry Kane, who sealed his move to Bayern Munich earlier that summer, a move which casted doubts over Tottenham's legitimacy as a top 4 contender in the Premier League, getting maimed by a 16-year-old was the last thing they would want, and that was what happened. Coming on when the scoreline was 2-1 in favor of the Premier League side, Yamal went absolutely berserk on the right wing, instantly providing an assist to Ferran Torres' equalizer before starting up the move that ended in both Barcelona's third and fourth goal of the match. The comparison with Messi was inevitable, but despite this, and rightfully so, Xavi was hesitant in throwing the youngster straight into the team at the start of the season. However, an injury to his preferred right winger at the time, Rafinha, paved the way for Yamal to play, and there was only ever one outcome. He continued to impress over the course of the season as he began to break numerous age-based records, like becoming the youngest player in history to play a Champions League knockout game at 16 years and 222 days. Spain's youngest debutant and goal scorer in the Euro 2024 qualifiers against Georgia, the youngest goal scorer in La Liga history. And if all this sounds familiar to you, well, the thing is, Yamal isn't the only recent player from Barcelona to follow this script. The rise from Masia at a very young age, breaking of age-based records to comparisons with Lionel Messi, another Barcelona player has enjoyed this type of ride and hype, and things aren't going as planned at the moment, and that player is Ansu Fati. He had very similar paths with Yamal, the same hype, the same skill set, except he was scoring a lot of goals, but as of right now, he's currently on the bench at Premier League club Brighton. Fati's decline has been previously documented on this channel, and his decline serves as a cautionary tale of what happens when you compare young players with arguably the greatest of all time.
Es verdad que las expectativas son enormes, son tremendas, lo está demostrando. El chico con 16 años está jugando a un nivel brutal, creo que esto es muy positivo, pero vamos a ver el futuro, o sea, compararle con Messi. Ya hemos visto que todos los futbolistas que han sido comparados con Messi pues no les ha ido nada bien.
While it's very tempting to compare, whenever we see these players and get lost in it, the results aren't always great. For Yamal to even be mentioned in the same breath as Messi means that the boy is very special, but care has to be taken so we don't place unrealistic expectations on him, especially at this age. After Barca's recent game against Real Sociedad, Xavi literally labeled him the chosen one. Lamine is the chosen one. His decision making is exceptional. He doesn't do everything perfectly, of course, he's 16, but that he's making the difference at that age tells you what kind of player he is, and so he can be. His growth in a year is incredible. In a way, you can sort of understand why the hype is so huge. He's a right winger with all the tools to become the best for Barcelona in the next decade. A Ballon d'Or winner in the making, which also means by recent trend, he's a massive potential who could be broken. His style of play is aesthetically pleasing. He has the ability to dribble in tight spaces, outrun his opponents and play perfectly timed passes, which is very Messi-like if you ask me. Yamal isn't scared of taking opposition players one-on-one, and he usually looks very menacing when cutting in from the right wing. He has a ton of pace, which is very useful in counter-attacking situations, and not to mention his incredible decision-making ability.
This guy just doesn't make bad decisions. It's 16. At that level that you're talking about, it's just incredible.
This is even more impressive considering his age. The only area in which his age, which in turn leads to a lack of experience, has ever been an issue is in his defensive abilities. Not his area of expertise considering he's an attacking player, but sometimes most attackers are required to be able to put in defensive shifts for the team. All in all, Lamine has been brilliant for Barca so far. Since bursting onto the scenes last year and due to injuries to several key players such as Gavi and Pedri, Yamal has been the talk of the footballing world when discussing Barcelona. Conversations about his bright future, his development, his importance to the team at such a young age has dominated Barcelona discourse. Considering he's been praised so much to the point of being compared to Messi, this will have both good and bad effects on him. For now, it doesn't seem to faze him. However, looking at history, especially most recently, Ansu Fati also didn't appear bothered about being compared to Messi. As a matter of fact, it appeared as though he relished it. But all it took was one bad injury and the pressure to perform got to him. It also didn't help that he was literally given Lionel Messi's shirt number, a move which some reports claim they want to repeat yet again for Yamal. These players are breaking through at Barcelona during a delicate period, a period in which there is pressure everywhere. The club has to win matches, win trophies, survive as late as they can in the Champions League because their existence literally depends on it. Players like Yamal will most likely be expected to play their best every single week, and this might have long-term effects on them. Pedri is one such example. He was very integral to the team, so much so that he was made to play almost every single match, and the effects of this he's still recovering from today. Although Xavi tried his best with Yamal, understanding how delicate his development was, hence he wasn't keen on overplaying him. However, at the end of the day, this is a result game. Realistically, as a manager, you should be fielding out your best players every single week to get results. As much as many of us are not fans of this is the reality that managers face.
Do Barcelona have the luxury here to bring this player along casually, or are they in a state where they need him to play now.
Barca not winning the league title this year to many is considered a huge failure, and when you take into account the financial situation of the club, you could see why even those in the club's higher ups who do not subscribe to this type of thinking will adopt it. Clubs with more financial backing might begin to start knocking on the door, as seen when Barcelona president Joan Laporta reported that Paris Saint-Germain offered them 200 million euros to sign the player, which of course the club rejected. We get offers for players like Yamal for 200 million euros, and we have said no, because we trust the boy in his sporting projection and we do not have the need. On the contrary, we have offers for Alejandro Balde, Fermin, very important, Gavi, Pedri, De Jong, Araujo, but we do not want to sell them. The only way with these that I have told you will be at least a figure of 1,000 million in income. Recently, Paris Saint-Germain star Kylian Mbappe announced he was exiting the club this summer to sign for Real Madrid. One can't help but wonder what this will do to PSG's motivation in getting him. But again, weakening your club while your rivals keep getting stronger might not be something that the Barca board are keen on doing, so he will most likely stay. There's a great mixture of young and old in the Barca team, and with veteran attacker Robert Lewandowski shouldering the goal-scoring burden, Yamal has found his goal-scoring outputs not come under any scrutiny for now. Of course, that's mostly due to his age, but fear and pressure can do a lot to disrupt this order. All in all, Yamal is brilliant. He seems like the kind of player who would easily adapt in any system he's playing under. If he manages to stay clear of truly devastating injuries, I think he will take Barcelona and its fans along on a beautiful ride to the future.